All right, good morning YouTube. Just wanted to start off the channel a little bit with a garden tour. So didn't want to start off with anything less than the best. So right here is my favorite fruit tree. It's called fruiting mulberry. It's a very common shade tree, the most common shade tree in the United States, I would say. That's just from talking with customers and seeing it in landscapes. But it's my favorite so much that I have 5 varieties growing in my yard. You can see one variety here. I believe this is the Illinois everbearing. This one's pretty obvious. It's the Pakistani mulberry. It's got a really large leaf. I mean, you can look at my hand right there. This leaf is huge. Probably get even bigger than that as it matures. This right here is a Russian seedling mulberry. I've got a Chateau mulberry from Arizona. They're actually for sale wherever. I've seen them all over, but it's from a special nursery called Jungle Tree Nursery. Ken is the owner, and he's just like renowned. He's like, you know, the nicest guy. Always sampling fruit throughout the nursery. And it was just a joy to go see him. So that's a special one right there. This right here is Morris Alba. It's a white non-staining variety. The mulberries, they don't stain. They won't like discolor things permanently for the most part. But they will stain your fingers. That's the antioxidants. I mean, like the things that we tend to not like sometimes are the most beneficial. You know, some of the bitterness qualities in some fruits sometimes, or, you know, like vitamin C or some other compound that's actually healthy for you. So if you don't like the color of the mulberry, this Morris Alba is a really nice one. I want to tell you guys a little bit more about this tree, but I'll probably do that in a short afterwards. I can go on and on about that tree. So for the sake of your time in this video, we'll kind of go around to the rest of the things we got here. So down here we've got a lemongrass. This is actually in the shade now. It was in the sun, but we've got this huge 12-foot wall up here, right there. And the road is actually a little higher than that. But the important part is, you can see the road right there. It's 6 feet tall. I shouldn't say a little higher than that. That's not possible, but a little lower than that. So what happened is the sun in the wintertime, it goes down. It's lower in the sky. So December 21st on average is the shortest day of the year. About like a month ago, the sun started getting down past that top of the wall to where these lemongrass couldn't really grow well, and that was just kind of learning about this yard. And so I always tell customers, like when I'm doing a landscape in their yard, that it's really a collaboration between the designer and the homeowner, and the homeowner is like equal if not greater than the designer, even though they may not have as much experience. They have all these little insights of, you know, where the sun hits, you know, their pathways. You can kind of see right here, I've got this pathway that my dog uses. She runs so much that she tears up this grass area right here. So it'd kind of be foolish to plant anything in this area. So all the way to the back fence, we will never plant anything in that pathway because it's just, that's her route. So insights like that, you know, most traveled areas, places you can see from, you know, inside your house. You might have a desk inside here and you want it beautiful looking out. I actually have my desk on the other side of the house. It looks out to the sugarcane, and that's like one of my favorite parts of the office. So things like that, it's really a collaboration between the homeowner and the landscape designer. And I always encourage homeowners to share that information. Sometimes homeowners want to be kind of secretive, or they want to just see what the designer knows, and that's fine. But you end up delaying the process of landscapes really coming together, and I think you can end up with a landscape that you're not as pleased with unless you just share everything that you know, because it's really valuable. So yeah, I would go with any contractor, one that you trust. You know, they may not even like have the best portfolio. They may not, I don't know, seem as qualified as someone else. But if someone else gives you like, hey, I may not trust this person, or I don't exactly believe what they're saying all the time, but they're kind of impressive what they're saying. They're impressing me with what they're saying. I would say go with the one you trust. So I don't think I've ever been steered wrong with that. But here we've got a pandan plant from Ken, Jungle Tree Nursery. This is supposed to have some medicinal qualities, used in like Vietnam is where he's from. So I imagine over there in the island countries off China, it would be medicinal, and not sure exactly what compounds, but I thought it was cool. So I grabbed it. We've got turmeric down here, and as you can see, we put these little branches around it because the turmeric got thrashed by my kids. I think they thought it was funny at first, and then maybe they just stopped caring. But the hose also kind of messed it up a little bit, so when I'm pulling the hose back and forth around the yard, it got trampled. So it's really good to have near a hose, because the water that drips from the hose can give this some water, and it loves water. But I would put some logs, even some larger logs. This is all we had around the house, and that would give it some protection. Some blocks, some logs, things like that. Over to this area, we've got some pineapple. These were actually growing in the property. This one is not doing as well as this one, because most of the root system, when I divided these two plants, came from this pineapple. And while we're here, you can see some of my cardboard that I save and throw down. This does two things. Not only does it, well, I guess we could say it does a lot of things. Not only does it suppress weeds, but it when I water, I don't use a nozzle on my watering hose, and I'll make a specific video about that. But I just leave the nozzle off of it. I'm already over here. I'll just show you. I just leave the nozzle off of it, and I go full bore with it. And the reason why I do that is because you can get a lot more flow of water if this is going full bore without a nozzle on it. And I'll just put my finger on the end a little bit to break it up, or if I have cardboard, I'll just spray the cardboard. And what that avoids is it avoids disturbing the soil. So yeah, when you disturb the soil, you can kind of damage the roots a little bit, and that'll set your plant back. So you kind of want to not disturb the soil as much as possible. And like I said, I'll go into the details specifically on watering and best ways, and things that go into it, a little bit more detail in the next video. But back here where we left off, we've got aloe vera. This is another plant that was here on the property. I think there wasn't any more than this. It was in full shade growing in the front yard, or partial shade I should say, filtered light. And I moved it back here because it was just kind of in a weird spot right in the middle of the lawn, like it was an ornamental tree or something, but it's not. So yeah, aloe vera here, great for sunburns and cuts. If you got cuts, this will help close it up. Another lemongrass, this is my son's, doing a lot better than mine. So his is in full sun. He never waters it. I never water it. We're actually doing a competition, and somehow he's beating me because I think he's got a better spot, and I'll just, my pride, I'll leave it at that. He's got a better spot. Or maybe he had the extra love and care for this plant that I didn't with mine. We'll we'll see. Maybe he's just a better gardener than I am. So I've got another potted lemongrass over here that I was going to plant right there, but I don't think I am. I'll find a different spot for it. But right here, this tomato is actually really growing well. It's actually growing so well that I can trellis it up to here on this little trellis that I made. And these branches just came off of this tree over here. This tree, I think, is a monkey face tree. I actually haven't identified it. If I'm wrong, someone can correct me, or I'll try and correct myself when I find out. It's an ornamental tree, so I don't really care as much about that. But lots of cool stuff still to talk about. I'll continue here. This is a banana. So we had some cold nights, only down to, I think it was 31. I didn't think that this thing was going to get damaged, but it did. But it took like 2 or 3 days for the leaves to turn brown. So I'm just going to leave those on there until winter's over, because it's kind of like a blanket. It kind of gives it a little protection from the wind. Mainly, it's not going to really change the temperature that much, but the wind chill factor, wind can really take moisture out of a tree. And when it comes to preventing a plant from freezing, you kind of want the moisture to circulate throughout the tree and not get any burn from wind or getting too cold. So yeah, interesting science behind how that works. The water cells actually explode inside the plant, just like a water bottle would do inside a freezer. So kind of cool. A banana is actually a grass. You can kind of see this leaf coming out right here, and it's very similar to this other grassy plant that we have growing over here, which is sorry, I'm thinking of two plants at the same time. Sugarcane. We've got sugarcane and we've got corn growing right here. And they're both, I think, corn is a grain, and I think technically in the botanical world of scientific classification, you would classify corn as a grass too. But you can kind of see the same type of growth habit. Right here, you've got this little branch, kind of, or I should say leaf, uncurling from the center of the plant. So you can see the similarities between the sugarcane and the banana. So very cool. I'm really like geeking out on grasses lately, because they're the hardiest types of plants. And then people will say, oh yeah, well, if grasses are so hardy, why do I have spots in my lawn? And I'm like, if you got a good irrigation system, you fertilize your grass like at least once a year. You don't even need to aerate it. That would be great for it. But you probably have like a 90% green lawn, and it's just like maybe 10% or less that you're actually upset about. That it's spotty, or it's a little yellow, or maybe there's a traffic area, or maybe your dog pees in the same spot every single day and it burns it, and that's why it's not growing well. But you think about it, you walk on the grass, you can walk on it every other day, and it's still gonna, for the most part, grow. If you're like my dog and you take 30 different trips every single day, then yeah, you're gonna wear out a rut. But for the most part, you can abuse grass. You can cut it every single week. Cut it down. Step on it. Your dog can pee on it, and then it's still, as long as it's not excessive, will grow. It loves to grow. So grasses will be the first plant planted on Mars. I'm almost certain of it, because they're so hardy. And if they don't, maybe their philosophy changed. But grasses, they're the first weed to start growing usually, or they're the ones that stabilize the hillside the quickest, I would say. But anyways, I digress from my grass rant. So right here, I've got some sugarcane stalks that I bought to give away, but I haven't given them away yet, because I bought so many. I bought 10 of these bundles. They're about $2 a cane, and so it was like 200 bucks in sugarcane that I went and bought. And I didn't want them to die, so I just dug a hole with some post hole diggers right there, and I just dropped the whole thing in the ground. And you can kind of see, you can see these branches, these leaves are coming out, and it's wanting to live. So yeah, I will continue on the garden tour shortly.